A great pleasure to welcome you all this evening on this online lecture entitled as Civilizational Dialogue and the Advancement of Medicinal Knowledge and Practices, a Historical Review. This session will be presided by our esteemed guest, Professor, and the chair of the session, Professor Dr. Mushtaq Ahmad Siddiqi, an eminent professor and medical scientist who served as Vice-Chancellor of Islamic University of Science and Technology from the year 2016 to 2021. So with his kind permission, I request Professor Mushtaq Siddiqi sir, with his kind permission, we shall proceed with today's program as scheduled.
Oh, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for allowing us to start the session. So in this session, we are honored to have an esteemed panel of scholars and intellectuals. Our distinguished speakers and panelists today include our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Siddharth M. Jondhale. You're welcome for honoring us, for joining us this evening. Professor Siddarth is a renowned eminent professor and great scientist, director of Siddarth Hospital at Kashmir Center, Maharashtra, India. And we have Professor Dr. Hamidullah Marazi Sahab with us, who is the president of Civilizational Dialogue and Harmony Foundation. So further, we are honored to have our esteemed advisory members whose presence greatly enriches the program. Sorry, interruptions here. Some of the participants are still joining us. Okay.
They may just mute their mics.
Yes, all participants are requested to mute their mics to avoid any distraction. Okay. Now, HCDHF is committed to fostering meaningful dialogue, intellectual exchange, and peaceful coexistence across civilizations, cultures, and faith traditions. In today's program reflects basically the ongoing commitment to engaging the history of medicinal knowledge and practices through a civilizational perspective. So before we proceed, I kindly request all the participants once again to keep their microphones muted. And with the permission of our chair, it's now my honor to invite our president, Dr. Professor Hamidullah Marazi Sahab, to give a welcoming address to all our students. Professor Hamidullah Marazi Sahab, who is also known as Hamid Nasim Rafiabadi, is a scholar of Islamic philosophy and religious studies and civilizational thought. With 3 decades of academic and research experience, his work focuses on Islamic philosophy, knowledge integration, Islamic research methodology, and inter-religious dialogue. Along postgraduate supervision and global collaboration, he has served as a Dean of Social Sciences and Media Studies at Central University of Kashmir, Head of Religious Studies, and Director of International Center for Spiritual Studies. So he is a visiting professor currently at Alia University, Kolkata, and was the distinguished visiting researcher at IUST IIM Malaysia, a prolific author of more than 65 books on Islamic philosophy, epistemology, science, religion, discourse. Professor Marazi Sahab has produced dozens of impactful works. So he serves as the president of Civilizational Dialogue and Harmony Foundation. So now may I invite our esteemed president, Professor Hamidullah Marazi Sahab, to deliver a welcoming address. Professor Marazi Sahab, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Farid Malik. First of all, I welcome Professor Mushtaq Ahmad Siddiqi, the honorable, former honorable Vice-Chancellor of IUST Kashmir, and also a very well-known scholar of medicine. He has studied different universities in Japan and in Germany and other places. He has worked as well, and he is a well-known scholar of medicine. Welcome. Also, I welcome Professor Siddarth. He has willingly just accepted our invitation to be today's speaker, and all others, the dignitaries and especially scholars from Mumbai and from Maharashtra and from Sri Lanka and from Kashmir and other parts of the world. So we welcome you all. So before just we start the program, I just wanted to say a few things that this civilization and medicine, this is a very important subject because people and civilization have inherited medicine from each other. There was Greek medicine, which was translated into Arabic. And there was Indian medicine, which was very famous in Arabic world, and which was the books of Indian medicine were translated into Arabic. And then it became allopathic medicine, and then Unani medicine, and then we have homeopathy. So there has been civilizational interaction in the fields of medicine. And the doctors and physicians, they have inherited knowledge of different civilizations regarding medicine. And they have been so generous in accepting, acknowledging the contribution of the earlier generations so far as medicine is concerned. Because in the matters or in the field of medicine, there had been no bias or prejudice. Because we are always dependent on this medication. So we needed the best practices which were prevalent anywhere in the world. And we have availed of those. So there is a great relationship between civilization and medicine in this way. For example, the Greek medicine, which was the books of Greek medicine were translated along with the Indian books on medicine by the Abbasids, and then great medical men like Ibn Sina and people like Abu Bakr Razi and Ibn Rushd and others were produced. And the book of Ibn Sina, Al-Qanun fi Tibb, was prevalent in the Western universities for up to the 17th century. And that was published about 50 times. In Latin edition was published. And that was working as the medical text for the whole Europe for centuries together. And then Muslims also inherited knowledge of medicine from Indian, medical sciences, and they just improved upon that. And there were Baramukhs who were in Baghdad. They had come from India. And then they taught the Arabs about Indian medicine. And that has worked also great miracles there. And we find in this way that there has been a great interaction in the field of medicine among the civilizations. So far as HUMA, civilizational dialogue and harmony organization concerned, we have been just conducting such conferences and seminars and webinars. First program we had conducted on history and civilization by Professor Atallah Hamlu, then Vice-Chancellor and civilization by Professor Abdulaziz Bargot from Malaysia. And now today we are having the third lecture by Professor Siddarth, and he'll be just talking about medicine and the civilizational revolution. And he has prepared a very good, PPT for this, and we hope that, we will be benefited by his knowledge, by his insights, so far as medicine and civilization is concerned. With these words, I am once again thankful to all of you for, making it today. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Hamidullah Marazi, sir, for those insightful opening remarks and the welcoming address. Now, we proceed to our keynote lecture, the central segment of our today's program, with our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Siddarth M. Jondhale, who is a distinguished researcher and director of Siddarth Research Center and Hospital in Maharashtra, India, committed to advancing healthcare. He is a pioneer in homeopathy and alternative medicine. Dr. Jondhale's innovative approaches have significantly contributed to HIV/AIDS treatment, showing his dedication to addressing complex health challenges through integrative practices. He holds a PhD from the Indian Board of Alternative Medicine, underscoring his academic foundation in alternative therapies. Further enhancing his credentials, Dr. Jondhale earned a Doctor of Science from Trinity World University and a Doctor of Letters D.Litt from New Age International University, demonstrating his expertise and contributions to medical research. His exceptional research achievements have been internationally recognized, notably with the Albert Schweitzer Award of 2010 for outstanding humanitarian and scientific contributions. Additionally, he received the Young Medical Scientist Award, highlighting his impactful work in medical research. So under Dr. Jondhale's leadership, the Siddarth Research Center and Hospital remain a beacon of innovation in alternative medicine, fostering research that bridges traditional and modern healthcare paradigms to improve patient outcomes. So may I now invite Professor Dr. Siddharth Jondhale to deliver the keynote lecture also on civilizational dialogue and advancement of medicinal knowledge and practices. Thank you. You are most welcome, Professor Dr. Jondhale. You are welcome. Floor is yours.
Professor, former Vice-Chancellor, University, Technology, Dr. Farid, sir, and Homa Civilization Dialogue and Harmony Foundation. Today, I'm very happy because my brother, Professor Dr. Hamidullah sir, he accepted my work, and I'm very happy on him. And the civilization dialogue and the advancement of the medicinal knowledge and practices, a historical review. Because this is very important subject. Civilizational
sorry for any interruptions. I request Professor Siddharth. Okay, now it's visible now. Okay, thank you.
First time in the world, the correlations for the geography for civilization revolution, we have to understand diverse environments, space of the earth, surface, their interactions. It seeks to answer questions. Modern academic discipline, geography is rooted in the ancient practice, particular natural environment and people, society. So, to me, the discipline first guide how to understand geography, the whole known world together. We have to understand the geographic idea, space idea, universe idea, scientific knowledge, and system. We need to understand carefully solutions and geographic understanding. Dr. Ahmad. Yeah. Just the geographic representation in picture, known world together, phenomenon which are the content therein expressed by the still consider geography. Because geographic understanding very important role to change the civilization. For the betterment, for the revolution, we need to understand astronomy as well as geographic study. Yeah. The observations connection with the life of the civilization, because we need to understand the universe, astronomy, because this astronomy connection with the human being and all space area of the earth, surface of the earth, the correlation theories, these are the most important to understand the development, the evolution of the civilization. So what I did, correlation for the astronomy, the notion of nature, correlated by me, because the new way of understanding astronomy, which is the dependent orientation. Now, the science in medicinal advancement, correlation with the neutron force. Now, the science continue changing, come together now, neutron force, connected with the quantum science, and connected with the thermodynamic law.
Yeah.
This is the most important because the geographic connections or connections with the quantum science, very important role to understand the civilization revolution. The unity of nature. The unity of nature, guiding principle for the virtually theoretical physics. Meta principle, nature made up the only few constituents. Fundamental substance, importance theory. Because the supreme scientist Paul Dirac given the direction to understand the anti-electron. Because we have to change the societal thought, civilization, crisis. So nature's unity is very important to all understand the solution of the civilization. Because the anti-electron for this nature, antimatter for this nature, supreme role to understand the civilization development and solution for the success. Dirac was ready to accept 3 particles, atomic nucleus, because there was no more 3 than 2. The physicist also called, no, there is a 2 particles in the nucleus. Because the nature of unity based on the anti-electron. Because antimatter and the space and civilization revolution, they are the interdependent each other, because there is a great chain of being according to natural qualities. Because the concept of the notion of nature being, we have to understand, because we want to change the civilization, their crisis, their problems, universal, great chain of being, to understand the natural quality for the revolution of the civilization. Civilizations are organized around the densely populated settlements divided into more or less the populations. Agriculture, civilization concentrates power, extending human control over the rest of nature. Because the ontological, agriculture, infrastructure, technological, correlation for civilizational nature. James Maxwell thoroughly given the importance to the human consciousness. Ignorance is the prelude to the real advance in science. Behavior of the human being, crisis of the civilizations, dependent origination, spiritual consciousness. The activities and consciousness of the civilizational society interconnected with the ecology, environmental humanities, and new motion of ecology. Reference to the Jivaka medicine. Because the understanding of scientific knowledge is very dependent. Maxwell has given the solution and idea expressing the phenomena intelligible only, even though there are telescope theory, these are basic parameters to understand this civilization. Historically, civilization has often been understood as larger and more advanced culture. It implies contrast to smaller, the National Geographic Society, Latin civicus or city, the National Geographic Society. So, most important, the concept of civilization. We need to understand scientific way, medicinal way, and solution for the civilization. Possibility, civilize the conditions. The most important, the age of the Enlightenment. Foundation for civilizational ethnography. Widely considered the father of the ethnography, the ethnographic method for the pioneering long-term participant observation. Established culture, living, and connected to the regulation of the society. Ethno, the element meaning the culture, people, nation, number of activities live together. Modern compounds in the social sciences. The ethnic, the most important, understand the national level, adopted genius customs of people. So people, their needs. The most important, we need to understand the way of ethnography. Civilization revolution with medicine. How can we do? Civilization revolution needs to understand new science of molecular biology. Because the new science of molecular biology gives the new benefit to the life as well as deep level of the understanding of the social science, social life. Why the understanding of the new science of molecular biology? Because basic civilization life, revolution, everybody needs life, better life, disease-free life, peace of society, peace of nation, peace of country. The scientific idea, a new science of molecular biology, is a very important role because even greatest scientist, even Schrödinger, has invented this idea, and I have invented the correlation idea for the new science of molecular biology. This is a solution for the understanding and solution for the civilization revolution. Civilization, there are many past revolutions, ethnography, the civilization we have to understand on the scientific level. national unity, we need to understand culture, civilization, human nature, and rational natural unity. Because unity of the holistic way understanding the world, quantum mechanics, and just about succeeded in the bringing the order, understand the atomic world. Principle of least choice or the again achieved discovery of the neutron. There is the nucleus, then you force an interaction. Coupling could be neither electric charge, gravitational constant. Because our disease, our mind, our DNA, is interconnected with the quantum biology. Because we have to understand the daily life, how the quantum foundations of new theory, even quantum mechanics. The most important, quantum mechanics is the supreme role to understand the civilization condition on the disease level, on the progress of the social level, on the solution level. So this is a universal solution for the universe, for the society, because we can change the world through the quantum mechanics. Because this is the universal law and natural law, so anybody can change for the defense as well as the solution of the civilization evolution. So most important, the Heisenberg. Heisenberg has given big direction to the impermanence of the crisis of the civilization. So how can we change the quantum mechanics? He has given the theory of impermanence. So this is the most important to understand the life of civilization and this unimodular group of the dimensions. Because the anti-electrons are running to the universe, so we have to understand adaptation, so defense of the crisis for the civilization. So everybody will be happy because this can be applied with the nanoparticle of the medicinal system in the quantum mechanics, in the supreme role to understand the civilization. Because the civilization more rational, more successful with the help of quantum medicine, quantum physics, quantum chemistry. So equality will be happen. The most important, the characteristic, social scientists also have given many directions. So one direction, we have to change the civilization with the help of medicine and knowledge and equality of the civilization. We can do with the help of the quantum mechanics. The societal collapse is the big problem. How this happened? Crisis. Societal collapse, also known as civilization collapse or system collapse. The fall of complex human society. There are so many cultural identity, social complex, adaptive system, government level problem, natural catastrophe, war, economy, population, the social collapse because of the imbalance of the many problems. So anthropologist has given environmental theory. So once we understand our disease condition, our way of life, behavior, self-happiness and other happiness, if we do, so there is no social collapse. So concept, societal collapse, the complex societies. Society need medicine. Society need better life. Society need, people need disease-free. They must be happy with the help of medicinal knowledge, theoretical knowledge. They save the life, then we can do the revolution of civilization. Societal longevity, this is also connection with the different types of like agriculture, city, different area connection to the societal life. Statistical analysis. Most important, the societal transformation, behavior of the person, the societal collapse, civilizational revolution. We have to understand on the one criteria, quantum theoretical idea, then oneness, unity will be solution, that is a quantum mechanics. Natural disasters, how can we take care? The archaeologists have identified the natural disasters, climate change. The natural disasters can take care, development, complex, culture. How can we take care? Natural disasters. They are the next. But
Sorry,
if you
sir.
take victims, if you live with the help of the medicinal knowledge, then better life. So defense, we can take it and we can do the solution. Historians, archaeologists believe long-lasting. There are so many crises, earthquake. So new theory of gravitation for the paleoclimatology. So climate, present crisis climate is a big social collapse. How can we understand? Yes, I told before, the empty electron, whatever work we are doing on the earth, we have to work carefully. The climate change is a different type of different subjects connected with the disaster. Crisis may be caused by social problems. So how can we do theory of metaphysical science with the quantum mechanics of the thermodynamics? Paleoclimatology, scientific study, because the climate connected with the anti-electron, astronomy, atmosphere, so we can take care with the help of theoretical idea, practical idea, living the life peaceful with the nature with the help of medicine. Understanding of the temperature, the new way of understanding the climate, the new way of enzymology, reference to the medicinal treatment, conversion of the carbon element, natural and holistic way, to the new way of thermodynamics, which is based on the basis of cosmology, correlation of quantum mechanics. The scientific theory available to need to do the natural practical way, the civilization revolution. Because carbon is the biggest problem in the universe. So we have to convert the energy with the natural way. So we can change the environment with this help of medicine, theoretical idea, and practical idea, social environment. We can change correlation of metamorphosis.
Sorry for any interruption, Prof. Sorry for any interruption.
Understanding supreme role, metamorphosis, involves civilizational environment. The correlation of metaphysical science belongs to the infinite cosmos. So, metaphor. So, Galileo also has given the connection to the divine connection and dependent theory next correlates to the metaphor. Copernicus also given the theory of that is the revolutionary idea or the civilization. Systems and sciences, research must be important to avoid the social collapse. So we need to understand the Galileo, Copernicus, the metaphor is a supreme role.
Sorry for any interruption. Could I request Prof? Could I request Prof. Siddarth?
Complex systems. So medicine is the most important role. Society can change. So all scientist idea together, we can change the world. Positivism, cultural evolution, different types of medicinal system. So there are, since this civilization origin, there are so many medicine systems. They have done great work. Historic medicine, ancient medicine, and science medical medicine, and scientific. There are so many different types of applications. Humanity medicine, great role, and also they have done great society change work. Ayurveda done deep great work. Homeopathy also did great work. All pathy, I'm respecting to all pathy. They have been to change the civilization. Aristotle has a metaphysical science to accept to change the medicinal idea. Civilization notion correlate with the metaphysics. The correlation between dependent origins, the homeopathic idea, the ignorance with the disease level, we have to understand the DNA understanding, homeopathic understanding on ignorance, avijja, connection with the natural theory. Francis Bacon has given the great idea of the homeopathy, natural world, and most important, the methodology we have to understand on therapy. Jivaka also has great role. Jivaka has given the idea reference. So science is a solution for this civilization. So what is advancement of medicinal knowledge? This is a very serious topic now. Even solving the supreme scientist, new science of molecular biology for the disease, evolution, and civilization. Because all medicine depends on molecular biology. All civilization, life of the humanity based on the molecular biology. All human beings on the earth, they are interdependent with the molecular biology. Because this is the rarest area. Each and every country must understand universal medicine, which is work on the molecular biology. Then we can change the civilization evolution. Because if we don't understand new science of molecular biology, we cannot change the revolution. We cannot do the revolution of the civilization. Because these are the becoming idea from the giving solving the. Then I have invented the new medicinal nanotechnology for the quantum biology. Quantum biology is the supreme role to understand the life of human being, behavior of pattern of the human being, and civilization definitely must be happy with the solution, with the happiness, with the peace. They will be happy forever. No crisis, no discrimination. If you understand universal meaning of medicine or the evolution of civilization. Quantum mechanics also, subatomic level, so scientific revolution. Now, scientific revolution is the greatest scientist Galileo, Nicholas Copernicus, Aldrich, Heisenberg, Irving Soldinger. So, advancement of medicine, how can we do it? With the help of homeopathic nanotechnology, with the mechanism, with the genetic science, repairing the DNA, new science of molecular biology, supreme role to understand, to develop the benefit for the civilization. Because otherwise, the people are not happy on the disease level, environmental level, because all enzymes in our body, they are interconnected with the space matter, space material, because the negative enzymes, they are not good. Once this medicinal technology, we have to understand on the deepest level, biological level, all beyond the science, because it is connected with the nature, natural, anti-electron, and our biological development of the human being is best of the civilization evolution. So new way of understanding, adapting civilization evolution, because mechanism of the civilization evolution is scientific level. This is on the new science of molecular biology, DNA level, genetic level, cosmetic level, once we seriously understand and accept this concept, we can change the earth, we can change society, and this is the one great happiness to people. The civilization because of theory of quantum mechanics. Okay, gratitude to Omar, Civilization Dialogue, and Harmony Foundation, the great brother, Professor Dr. Eminent, sir, the chairperson sessions, and great gratitude to. Thank you so much. And this is a great breaking news for everybody. And this is the greatest civilized revolution. First time in the world, we can say thank you so much.
Thank you so much once again, Prof. Siddarth, for your insightful presentation. And I sorry to participants for exceeding some of the time limitations. So may I request our chair of the session, Professor Siddiqi Saab, could we extend? I request our esteemed participants as well. Could we extend the session by 10 more minutes as scheduled? So maybe are we allowed to extend the session by 10 more minutes? Thank you so much, sir. Your mic is muted. Thank you so much for your generosity regarding time, and for the respected participants also. Thank you for your patience. Now I request the esteemed participants, I open the floor with the permission of our chair for the Q&A session before proceeding with the presiding address by our chair of the session. So we open the floor for question and answer session for 10 minutes. So if, dear participants, you are requested, if you have any question, you may either ask directly by raising your hand, or you may put the question in chat box so that we may answer your question, inshallah. You're welcome. So any question from the participants? Regarding our today's presentation, I request Professor Siddarth that he will share the slides with us so that we may share with the participants our today's recording and slides, so that they may get those who missed the information, so that they may get it early. Any question from our esteemed panel? Any question?
There's no question from my side. Let me just make a comment. So Professor Siddarth has just tried to bring a wealth of information from various sources, and he just tried to talk more about DNA, how we can just influence DNA, and through that how we can cure medicinal diseases. It's a new concept in that way. And he has just alluded to different scientific theories and scientists of different parts of the world, from Asia, from West, from East, everywhere. So that was in a way a philosophical orientation of the lecture as well. And then he finally has just talked about molecular biology and other things, and then related with that medicine. And he did not talk only one kind of medicine, but he talked about various kinds of medicine, which have contributed a great deal for the promotion of good health worldwide. So in this way, this was a very good representation and presentation, I should say, about the medicinal history and medicinal treatment, which has been prevalent at different parts of the world, and he has given philosophical touch also to this presentation. So in this way, it was a very remarkable presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much once again, Professor Marazi sir, for your reflections. Now, I would like to invite our chair of the session, Professor Mushtaq Ahmad Siddiqi Sahab, for the presiding address. Before that, I would like to briefly introduce our chair of the session, Professor Dr. Mushtaq Ahmad Siddiqi Sahab, who is an eminent professor and medical scientist who served as a Vice-Chancellor of the Islamic University of Science and Technology from year 2016 to 2021. He previously held several key positions at the Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences, including professor from 1998 to 2012, center coordinator of the Advanced Center for Genetic Diseases from 2004 to 2012, chairman and head of the Department of Immunology and Molecular Medicine from 2003 to 2012, and head of the Department of Central Laboratory Medicine and Clinical Biochemistry from 1990 to 2003. Professor Siddiqi has also served as a visiting scientist and professor at universities in Japan and Germany, and was awarded a postdoctoral fellowship by the Ministry of Science, Art and Culture, Government of Japan in Tokyo from 1981 to 1983. So, and he has contributed extensively to research with more than 100 international and 20 national highly impactful publication is credited. So with this brief introduction, I welcome our honorable guest, Professor Mushtaq Siddiqi Sahab, for presiding this session and for his reflections for the topic. Prof, you are welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Farid, for a very wonderful introduction. I'm humbled by what you are saying about me. So I was aptly listening to Professor Siddarth, and I'm really, amused to hear how Siddarth is trying to, correlate the civilizations and with medicine, and especially the modern medical sciences, including the molecular biology and quantum biology, quantum physics, which comes to quantum biology after some time, because there's going to be the use of quantum physics or quantum theories will be applied for drug discoveries in future too. So therefore, I've been a molecular biologist for a long time. And in fact, Professor Siddarth, I have made a gene therapy for HIV for the people who were affected by HIV. And I was able to, stop their infection state from the HIV infection to the AIDS state, and that was my work, which I published quite a bit in the best journals of the world: Journal of AIDS and Human Retrovirology, Journal of Biological Chemistry, all those things. So therefore, I'm conscious of the modern technology which you are trying to superimpose with the civilization. So I'm really amused to listen to your lecture. What I would like to take it further from Professor Siddarth is civilizations obviously have different kinds of definitions. They are defined by historians, and they are defined by social scientists, and so therefore the common the definition which has been said was it is a complex advanced human society. Can somebody can all of us mute the mics, please, because otherwise it's going to be so. It's characterized by urban development. Civilization has been actually working on a urban development, social stratification, and specialized labor, and then development, and maximally what everybody social, whether they are historians or they are social scientists, they have actually tried to give civilization a name by intellectual advancements. So the civilizations were not brought only by the culture only, but they were also brought in by the intellectual acumen that this civilization or this society that was ultimately, club it into a kind of a civilization. So if we go to Mesopotamia civilizations or Egyptian civilization or Indus Valley civilization, they were ruled by intellectual acumen. And that is how their urbanization came into the existence and all that. So that intellectual advancement developed into the culture of the system, and that defined the civilizations. So if you look at civilizations in the earlier period when the communication was not that strong, they were bound by boundaries. But now, for the last, if you look at the last 100 years, the boundaries have stopped to exist. So we do not have those kinds of civilizations which existed around 2,000 years earlier, or even 600 years earlier. We would call them as Byzantine civilization or Persian civilization or similar Roman civilization. So therefore, the modern times, the contemporary times, which I would put up around 60, 70, or 80, even 80 years earlier, since the World War II, we are seeing, the civilizations cannot develop because there's too much of crossover between the places to places. Now look at the migration of the people who come from India to United States. They do not form a civilization in the United States because obviously they get what Americans call the melting pots. And if we have a similar kind of immigration into our systems, they will not form civilizations because civilizations were bound by boundaries earlier, by geographical boundaries, but now they are getting, I would call, demolished those geographical boundaries. So what we are actually what I'm trying to say is that we have, for the last several centuries, we had a Chinese medicine. Now I'm trying to bring the civilizations into the medical sciences. We had Chinese medicine, we had Indian medicines, we had Islamic medicine then, obviously. But you will not find this kind of a civilizations, we don't give a name of a particular drug or a particular discovery this time to a particular civilization. If Professor Siddarth will remember, for example, he was talking about quantum physics. We don't give when it was discovered. I mean, it's being used hugely this time because qubits are being used nowadays to solve most complex problems. We don't give it a color of a civilization this time. So it's a kind of a single world, what we call the global village. So I'm really trying to correlate earlier when Ajmalin was, when people were out of their experiences, the Hakims, the Ayurveda professionals, Unani professionals, or homeopaths were giving the Rawalfia as an anti-arrhythmic drug. So it was in India that a compound was taken out of this, and Ajmalin was found to be there, and it was named after a great Hakim of that time, that was Ajmal Khan. So again, here we actually correlated it with the Indian science. But this time, if Indian science discovers something, it's not being taken as an Indian science, it's a global science. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is we have major discoveries which are coming in future, which have impacted our lives, in the last 50 years or 60 years. If you look at the smallpox disease, and if you look at smallpox, how smallpox was, becoming a source of mortality and then disfigurement of many people. But with the smallpox vaccine, we hardly have a smallpox now. So therefore, similarly, we have an insulin which has come up hardly in another, in 1921, insulin was discovered, and insulin this time saves so many lives. But this is not being, ascribed to a particular civilization this time. Insulin is an insulin, and which is being actually used by my wife for the control of diabetes, and it is being also used in United States I'm told, by even the Trump, who is the president of the United States. He is diabetic and he uses the insulin, and without ascribing it to a particular civilization. But what is actually what Professor Siddarth was trying to correlate was, it's very important to understand the modern biology, which is molecular biology, is a really very strong tool. As I said, I developed it by myself. I developed it, that's my credit, which is when AIDS was still, untreatable, I developed a gene therapy for the AIDS patients. And so therefore, these are very strong tools. And this can lead us to very civilizational, what I would call advancements that was existing around sometimes 2,000 years earlier. You see, if we look at Egyptian mummies, and Professor Siddarth knows it, that this time when we have to transport a dead body from one place to another, we do an embalmment of the body. And this embalmment, this type of technology was available in Egyptian civilization around, I think, 3,000 years earlier, at least 1,000 years before Christ. And you find mummies which are, and if you look at very recently in Iran, they found mummies which are dating to around 6,000 years earlier. So therefore, these technologies were available those days. So probably some of the diseases like cancers of the present times, they can be actually sometimes traced to by the treatment of the cancer can be traced to a particular civilization. So it's very important to because this time we have a lot of tools, medical tools. We have a lot of scanning tools, magnetic resonance imaging, MRIs, CT scans, and all those things. These can sometimes be used to find out the present day contemporary problems. What we have, we can find out some of the treatments. So therefore, linking civilizations to medical discoveries and linking civilizations with the present day contemporary diseases, especially the non-communicable diseases that we are having a lot of them now, especially India. India is considered to be a capital of India is considered to be a capital of the non-communicable diseases like diabetes or hypertension or even cancers now. So therefore, if we can link some of the modern technologies to the earlier civilizations, probably we'll have lot of answers to our questions which are existing in the contemporary problems arising out of the healthcare issues. So therefore, I'm just going to stop here. Otherwise, I'm a teacher, so I will go on and on. So therefore, I personally thank the Professor Hamid Naseem for inviting me to chair this session, and I thank Dr. Farid to call me every now and then to make me aware that this seminar is to be conducted on this time. And Professor Siddarth, I'm really amused to listen to your lecture, and I'm looking forward to listen to more of your lectures in future. Keep me posted. I'll be definitely listening to you. I'll be learning a lot from your knowledge that you have thrown open to us at this point of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much once again for these insightful reflections to Professor Mushtaq Siddiqi Sahab and our honorable keynote speaker, Professor Siddarth, and all the respected esteemed participants who honored us for this session. Now I would like to invite Professor Marazi Sahab to deliver the vote of thanks, acknowledging our distinguished speakers, participants, and the organizing team. Professor Marazi Sahab, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. This was really an illuminating session. Both the great doctors, scientists, and mashallah, practitioners of medicine, they have enlightened us about the history of medicine and the march of medicinal journey from one civilization to another. And then Professor Siddarth has tried to relate that with philosophy, ancient philosophy, modern philosophy, and modern science as well. So that was a very interesting and holistic approach to medicine. And what has been the role of civilization in the development of medicine, and what has been the impact of medicine on civilizations, and how people and how generations have inherited medicine from each other.
Dear esteemed speaker, let me introduce myself.
Siddarth for his enlightening lecture, and then followed by Professor Mushtaq Siddiqi, who himself is a scientist and practitioner, I should say, medical man, and he has just invented many things, and he has been guiding generations of scientists in medicine under his guidance at different parts of Kashmir, like Sher Kashmir Institute and Islamic University of Science and Technology, and elsewhere as well. And not only in India, but also in Japan and also in Tokyo. So his contribution has been great, and he has enlightened us about some other aspects of medicine and civilization. And then he has defined also civilization, as was done also by Professor Siddarth. And we need to define both the terms, medicine as well as civilization, alternatively, and then showing the impact of each other, because medicine has been one of the very important ingredients in civilization, and there has been borrowing in the medicine, and without any bias or prejudice. People have inherited medicine from each other, and civilizations as well have done the same. I am also very thankful to many friends of Professor Siddarth, like Epi Work, Mullo Getty, and Athrolia, Rathana, and Baby Hanvet, and Deshna, and Jondhale, and Dr. Nasim Gul, and then Professor Sharmista Chatterjee. She is the professor of English of Alia University, and then Kamlesh Shaledia, and Madhusudan Geg, and then Muse LMIO, and Naresh Patel, and so many Omi Amar and others. They have been very much regular. They listen the whole discourse with their rapt attention, and I hope that we all are benefited by these two great lectures by the great people, great practitioners of science, and themselves medical men. So we were very much enlightened by these two lectures and other deliberations. I thank you all for your rapt attention and for your presence, and we hope that we will continue this journey on the lines, and we may have some more lectures by Professor Siddarth in future as well. And he has also shown interest in this, and his friends, I have seen that many friends have already joined us, and his patronage and his guidance will be very helpful to us. So we would like to learn more about medicine and civilization, how civilizations can benefit from each other in this time when there are civilizational crises, when there is clash of civilization. But so far as medicine is concerned, there is no clash. As Professor Siddiqi Sahab has rightly said, that now the medicines have no names, they can't be attributed to one country or another country. Those are being used universally, because medicine has no religion in that sense. It has no culture, it has no civilization. It is universal in nature, and we need to get benefited by this. If we take all these medicines together, holistic medicine, then we can help to eradicate many diseases, communicable and non-communicable. And in this way, we can usher into a better world to live in with a healthy life. So with these words, I thank you all. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for these kind words. As we conclude today's program, I would like to express once again my sincere thanks and gratitude on behalf of our organization, our respected keynote speaker, Professor Siddarth M. Jondhale, and our chair of the session, Professor Dr. Mushtaq Siddiqi Sahab, and our president, Professor Hamidullah Maradi Sahab, and all those esteemed participants who honored us for this session. And we expect to join us once again in our forthcoming programs. You are welcome. By this, good evening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jazakallah. Thank you. All the best.